So there she is, Marilyn. I named the dress after the glamour icon of the 50s and 60s, Marilyn Monroe. I think the name fits this dress perfectly with the feathers and this faux suede. It's so glamorous. And I added the straps. The straps were not in this pattern. And of course the feathers, hand stitched the feathers all the way around the top and the bottom. In the back there's an invisible zipper, which I think came out flawless considering this is faux suede. And then the slit at the bottom, the opening here, I added that. And there she is, my glamorous dress that I just absolutely love. It's so soft and feminine and flowy. And most of all, it's fearless. Hi everyone, welcome to So Lovely with Grace. If you're new here, I'm Grace. If you're returning, welcome back. This is one of my first mugs when I started my channel from my childhood friend Sally. Thank you, Sally, you're so thoughtful. Ooh. Yes, starting off the video with coffee is so wonderful. It's one of my favorites. I will treasure this mug. So, today we're continuing the series in March of Fearless Sewing. Yeah, Fearless Sewing, where we create some makes with some fearless fabric, fearless trim, or any fearless style. And this week it's fearless with feathers. Yes, I love feathers. And I'm collaborating with Kesha the Stylist. She's a thrifter. She has a channel where she does thrifted fashion, vintage thrifted fashions, and she's going to be doing a video on fearless with feathers also. So check out her channel. I'll put the link in the description box below. So today I have two looks for you. As you can see, the more glamorous Marilyn look that Fanny's rocking here, and the more casual daytime look that you can wear to lunch or brunch, or have that little date night if you like, or date lunch. That's what I'm wearing with feathers down here. So I'm excited to bring you both of these looks. Also, I'll be showing some subscriber creations. I had 3 subscribers send in photos this week. Yeah, 3. And I'll be sharing those with you today. I will also be spinning the wheel for this week's giveaway of New Look 6759, this unisex hoodie and sweatshirt pattern, which I will do later on at the end of the video. At first, I want to talk about the Fearless with Feathers. I got a comment from a subscriber, I have it written down here, Jolynn White 7946. And what she wrote in last week's video when I did that Baroque scroll dress, my first Fearless sewing video of March, she wrote a comment about Fearless. And she says, I think of Fearless, I think of the creative edge, the daring, do the daring to do something different, wear a style you might not wear, invest in some fabric that you thought was too pricey, all the kinds of things that are daring that can make life so interesting, especially in your sewing room. Happy sewing. She caught my vibe, and the word daring, I was like, wow, that fits the bill. This week's makes are very daring, especially my Marilyn dress. And I said, absolutely, daring is the perfect word to describe fearless sewing. I will be daring all month. Happy sewing to you too. So thank you, Jolynn, for that comment. And that really put another spin on this month, daring. That's what I am. So yeah, so what I wanted to do is model these 2 looks for you and then go into more detail about fearless sewing and being glamorous. I hope you like those two looks. What did you think? Incorporating feathers into your wardrobe? Definitely. You know, you only live once. Make it count. I like to approach my life daily with excitement, joy, and a little glamour. And that's why feathers are fun, in my opinion. So we have two looks. We have this daring evening look for a special occasion. You go to a show, maybe a Broadway show, even on a cruise, a destination wedding. Imagine that, wearing this dress out. Granted, it's not your everyday look, but this top that I'm wearing definitely can be incorporated into everyday wear. And I'm going to show you inspirations for both of these looks. But first, I want to talk about, I found this idea of glamorous style with Marilyn Monroe and Diana Ross and Lena Horne, three glamorous women of the past. The idea of glamorous style has its roots in old Hollywood, where starlets like Marilyn Monroe, like I said, Diana Ross and Lena Horne, turn heads with their polished looks and effortless charm. Yes, charm can be glamorous also. Back then, glamour wasn't just about clothes. It was a whole vibe, absolutely. Think flowing gowns, flawless makeup, and accessories that made every entrance feel like an event. So yeah, just anything, an accessory, something special you wear, some perfume to make your day glamorous. That's what I like to do every single day, as I've said in the past. So now I want to focus on these two patterns. The first, this beautiful dress, I added straps, but I made the strapless dress in Simplicity S9820. This gown, I added the straps and I made it out of this faux suede. Yes, this is faux suede that I got at the sewing studio in Maitland, Florida. And the feathers I got on Amazon, and I hand stitched the feathers to the top and the bottom of the dress. And here are some photos of my inspiration to make this dress. I think I made it almost identical to these photos. I just thought it was glamorous. And then the second, this top that I'm wearing, the second look that I was talking about, I made this about a year ago on my channel, and all I did to this was add feathers to the hem. And this was Vogue 1835, I think it's view A, the top. I have a whole video on that. I lengthened it, and it came out great. And you can make this top without the feathers. You can make it in, I'd say, a half an hour or an hour. Just cut two pieces, sew them together, and you're done with the hem. And I have a video on that. I'll put it in the link in the description box below. But here are some photos of my inspiration for the feathers on this top. As you can see, Saks Fifth Avenue has this currently on their website. This top, which retails for over $200, and I got this fabric at Hobby Lobby, and then I got the feathers, like I said, on Amazon. So this cost me close to nothing, maybe a couple bucks, but I have achieved a similar look. And also Revolve, which is another website, this top is currently on their webpage for over $200 also. So yeah, these feathered tops are contemporary. They're in style now. So I have no fear to wear this out. Wearing these with my jeans or the crop pants that I modeled, I feel confident to wear this. I think it's beautiful, it's feminine, it's flowy, it's fun. So what I'm going to show you now is we'll go to the cutting table. First, I'm going to show you this dress, what went into it and how simple it is to make. And then I'll show you how I attach the feathers to the hem of this top. Now there are only 3 main pieces besides the front facing and the back facing, but for step 1 they want you to do the side seams, stitch the left back number 2, the right back number 3 to the front number 1, and then you're going to put in an invisible zipper. I didn't do that. What I did was I first put in the invisible zipper. I put that in the back. I think it came out perfect. I love it. And now I'm going to put the side seams in because that'll be easier to fit. Because if you put the side seams in first and then the zipper, then you might have to adjust the sides. So I put the zipper in. I'm going to do the side seams. I'm going to baste the side seams in and get it to fit because I want it to be really slim. And then I'm going to sew it. The dress is essentially done except for the feathers. So what I decided I'm going to do is, this has a facing here because I put these straps in, and I'm going to top stitch all the way around. Generally for this pattern you would not do that because this is going to show, but the top stitch is to keep the facing in. It just reinforces everything. I got this invisible zipper. I think it came out flawless. And then once I top stitch it all the way around and press it, I'm going to attach these feathers. Now I haven't decided if I'm going to use the sewing machine or hand stitch. I'm just going to see what works and we'll go from there. And then I'm going to do the same for the hem. I'm not going to hem this dress. I'm just going to sew the feathers at the end because it doesn't need to be hemmed. Okay, so what I did here was I hand sewed this row of feathers to the top, right here on the very top. Hand stitched it all the way around, and it just seems a little sparse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another row right on top, and I'm going to hand stitch this. Now these feathers, you're not sewing the feathers, you're actually sewing this rope. The rope is in the feathers, so I just sew the rope to the fabric and then it stays, but you have to hand stitch it. There's no way you can machine stitch it, at least I can't. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do one row for the bottom. We'll see how that looks. Also, I'm going to do the same for the back. See, there's a rope here. I'm going to do the 2 rows. But look at this invisible zipper. It's absolutely perfect. So things are working out for this dress. Now these type of feathers do not have that ribbon attached to it. They're totally different than the black ones. So it's a little more challenging to attach. I could either hand stitch it like I did for the suede dress, or I decided to use these wonder clips and clip this to the hem of the top, and then every inch I do a tack down stitch. I don't know if you can see it, it's really small, but I've done a few here already. I just tack it down right here. I go back and forth every inch, and that should hold up this row of feathers on the hem of this top. Here I want to show you how I'm stitching it. So I have the feathers at the edge of the hem, and buried in these feathers is a rope. Okay, now here's a clip here holding it to the hem, and here we are, we're at the end of the rope. So that's how it's created here. We got the feathers, and then the feathers are covered with this rope. And what I'm literally doing is sewing this rope to the hem of the top. Okay, so I'm going to stitch, and it's hard to hold the camera while I'm doing this, but I'll do the best I can. So I'm stitching forward a couple of stitches, and then I do the reverse. Here's the reverse button. I'm going to press that, and to reinforce the stitch, it's hard to see because it's buried, but that tacks the feathers to the hem, and I'm doing it all the way around every inch. As you can see, this was a very easy dress to make. It's extremely dramatic and daring, but it's so simple. And I made it with this faux suede. It has a one-way stretch, not a lot of stretch, but it has enough give to wear. It's nice and soft and smooth. And I got this at the sewing studio. I really like this fabric. This is all I got left. If I go there in Maitland again, I'll look for it in other colors. And then the top, Vogue 1835. Now I made this, I don't know, a year or two ago. I have a video on it. But I did alter the pattern pieces. I started with an extra large at the neckline because I wanted this to come down over my shoulder. It just kind of bothered me to have it too small. So I made an extra large here. Then at the bust, I tapered it to a large. And then at the waist, it was a medium. So I have the template ready to go if I want to make it again. I also made the pants, but not in the same color. I have a video on the two-piece set. This is a great pattern. But I plan to make this top again and make feathers with different colors because there's many colors on Amazon of feathers that you can make. Now these feathers were different than I made another dress with feathers, with detachable feathers, but they were different than these feathers. These feathers have like a rope. Let me find it here. Yeah, this is the rope. Okay, so the feathers are on this rope, okay? They're attached to this rope. So this is the part I had to sew on the hem of the top. It was totally different than the feathers I made with my Diana Ross dress. I have a video on that. It's a vintage pattern. I'll show it here and I'll put the link there. But what I did with that dress was I made the feathers detachable because the feathers came with this ribbon. See this ribbon? They came like that. It was totally different. It wasn't like the rope. So what I did was I sewed snap tape, this is the male, snap tape on the feathers so that I can snap this to the hem of the dress, my Diana Ross dress. Oh, this is a gorgeous dress. Okay, you got to see the video on that. It's a lot of fun. And here's the female snap tape at the hem inside. So I can wear this dress two ways. Just like this top, if I had that type of feathers, I could have made them detachable. But when I got these feathers and I saw them, I was like, oh no, I can't do that with this. They're a different style. So you got to note that detail. If you want to make them detachable, make sure you have the feathers with the ribbon and not this kind. But this one, I just sewed in. They're going to be permanent. And how am I going to wash this? By hand, no problem. This top, really easy. The dress, now, of course, that would have to get dry cleaned, but I don't see wearing it very often. I don't think I'll be wearing it too often. But, you know, like I said, I sew for fun and for artistic expression and just for the experience a lot of time. So, yeah, this is just something that I'm going to treasure and I just adore. Let me show you one more time up close the detail of the feathers on this top. How I sewed it. So I just tacked it down every inch or so. Can you see that, the stitches? And it just came out great and it stays for good. It's not detachable. But again, next time I buy feathers, I'm going to look for that ribbon feature so that I can make them detachable if I want. But I'm good with this. So what else could I tell you? This is just an easy peasy pattern. You could put feathers on any top, I guess. Now they're in style. They also have them on pants at the hem of the pant leg. That sounds fun. So that's it for Fearless with Feathers. And now for subscriber creations. As I said in the beginning of the video, I have 3 subscribers that sent in photos of their makes. And I'm so excited to show them to you today. The first subscriber is Beverly Askew. She's a longtime subscriber of my channel. All 3 of them are longtime subscribers, and she's very talented. And I took some notes here from the email she sent me, and I'm going to show you the photos here. She had 4 makes, 2 outfits. In this first photo, she used Vogue 1840 for the top, and Simplicity 9271 for the pants. And then for the pink outfit, She wrote, I use Simplicity 8546 for the button-down shirt and Vogue 8840 for the pants. So that Vogue pattern was used in both of these looks. Beautiful, Beverly. You're so talented. Looks like you're really enjoying your American Sewing Guild girls group because she wore these outfits to their events. So yeah, thank you, Beverly, for sending in those photos. And now for the next subscriber, it's Sharon Stacy. She celebrated Galentine's Day with her girls. They had a nice little brunch and she wore an outfit here. In the photo, she writes, Dear Grace, I'm in the white dress that I made with a purple coat and scarf. Next are my friends, and she lists her friends. We were at Diana's for brunch. We had a beautiful meal that Diana cooked. After we ate, Diana read the story about St. Valentine, the same story you read to your audience. And she just had a great time with her girls, and she loves everything I make. So thank you, Sharon. Looks like you guys had a great gathering. Thanks for sharing your make here. And finally, Cindy Winkler. She's amazing. She's a quilter, and she sent a photo of her latest quilt. I'm going to go to the computer and show it to you there. Cindy Winkler made a spring quilt. Look at this. I had to show it on the computer because it's just so gorgeous, massive. I couldn't get the whole quilt in the photo, but look how she did it. She has like the blanket stitch going on for each of the flowers and each of these blocks, and it looks like a button in the center of each of these flower blocks, and the colors, the variety here is just breathtaking. And it looks like it's on the wall going up a stairwell. That's how massively big it is, and that's why I wanted to show it to you here on the computer. Stunning. Thank you again, Cindy. Thank you, Cindy, Beverly, and Sharon for your outstanding creations. I truly enjoy seeing those, as does my audience. So if you have a creation that you would like me to highlight on my channel, please send me an email to solovely.with grace@gmail.com. and I'd be thrilled to highlight it here. I also wanted to mention the bag that I modeled. It's a Babylon leather bag, and I know that my longtime subscribers know that I love Babylon leather, but for my new subscribers that, maybe recently subscribed to my channel, I make handmade leather bags through Babylon leather, and this was my latest one. I've made this version 2 other times in the past. It's just very cute, and it has these bag feet at the bottom, these beautiful gold fixtures. I love the zipper and the strap that it comes with, and everything is hand stitched. And I just wanted to show it to you that when I have my makes, I like to model the bags I made, and I'm continuing to make more. In fact, I got a couple more on order. So I just wanted to mention that, and there's a link in the description box below for Babylon leather, and you can use the code SOLOVELY10 to get an extra 10% off all their bag kits. And finally, the giveaway. Well, last week's pattern was this new look 6759 hoodie sweatshirt unisex pattern, and the question of the week was, do you mend or alter for others? Not sew or create, but mend or alter. And I got a variety of answers. Some were flat out no. A lot of them were yes with hesitations. So yeah, I've been there, done that. It's like you do it, but then, no good deed goes unpunished sometimes. But a lot of my subscribers do alterations, but not really willingly or joyfully. That's the majority of the response I got, and I share that sentiment. I do enjoy doing alterations for family, but outside of that, it gets a little stressful, It just doesn't matter what your skills are. sometimes you can't satisfy that person. So yeah, so let's go to the wheel and spin for the winner of this giveaway. Okay, we had 53 entries, which is a pretty big turnout. And I'm going to shuffle once, shuffle twice. Here we go. Wow, who's it going to be this week? Okay, it looks like we have, ooh, K Rush 9834. K, congratulations! Congratulations, K Rush 9834. You're the lucky winner of New Look 6759. Please send me your contact information to solovely.with.grace@gmail.com and I'll ship it out to you as soon as possible. And now for next week's giveaway. It's going to be New Look 6509. There's 4 views here. We have a mini sundress, then we have a sundress with a cutout. We have these jumpsuit with a cutout, and then the shorts romper look with a cutout also. I've made view B in the past and I couldn't get the top cutouts to line up well with the skirt part, but I found So Happy, she has a YouTube channel where it's all sew-alongs, and she did this pattern. Granted, she did the pants, but it would follow, you know, similar instructions. So I will put the link in the description box for her sew-along here if you're interested. And this pattern, the sizes go from 6 to 18. And we have a zipper for a notion and 14-inch invisible zipper, but you can put a regular one in, and 2 buttons. The suggested fabrics are batik, challis, chambray, cotton types, crepe de chine, gingham, lightweight denim, linen types, sateen. Basically any woven would work for this. So it's pretty versatile in that regard. So what are the rules of the giveaway? Well, you need to be a resident of US or Canada, because that's where I ship to. You need to be a subscriber to my channel. Please thumbs up this video and answer the question of the week. And this week's question is, what's your greatest fear in sewing that you'd like to overcome? Please put it in the comments and I will respond with the word entered, and you'll be entered into the giveaway. Please post your response by Monday, March 16th at midnight. Good luck! Well, I hope you found this video informative and fun, and most of all, I hope you were so inspired.